Ezreal is among the 3 hero AD carries around, meaning that he is among the 3 best AD carries that are in the league so far. And he is a special AD carry because he doesn't concentrate mainly on his basic attack, but he also concentrates on his skills, which are amazing if you ask me, and that's why he is my favorite AD carry to play, simply because I'm an AP and Ezreal is the easiest transition from AP to AD. So the way he actually pokes down his champions is with his skills, of course. His passive is awesome. Every time you hit an enemy champion with one of his skills, you get a 10% increase of your attack speed for 6 seconds, and it's refreshed every time you hit an enemy again with your spells, so that's pretty cool. You can get up to 5 times, meaning 50%, which is an awesome passive. It's one of my favorites in the game. Mystic Shot is a spell which has an enormous range. It's just huge, and it's twice, I think it's like 3 times the amount of flash, so it's pretty cool. So you get a stack of Rising Spell Force every time you hit someone with this spell. It has 100% AD and 20% AP increase on it. And this is going to be your main poke spell on the bot lane. Essence Flux is his W. The cool part about this spell is that it passes through minions and hits champions, so they can't dodge by, you know, being behind minions or so. And this is an awesome spell if you're going AP, because it does 80% AP damage, which is awesome. So if you have, like, you know, 600 AP, you're gonna do almost plus 500 500s on that, plus the basic, so you can get up to like 1,000 with this spell, minus their magic shield, of course. But this is the spell that makes Ezreal go AP plus his ult. His E is essentially a flash with an attack move when you land in a nearby place, and I really like this spell, as Ezreal is not one of the beefy AD carries around, so he needs an escape tool, and this can also be an amazing engage. So this does, you know, basic damage with it. At level 18, it actually does more damage than Essence Flux, and Essence Flux also gives you increased attack speed on your allies, which is pretty cool. True Shot Barrage is one of my favorites ult in game, definitely. It's across the map ult, meaning that when you cast it, you know, it can literally go where you want it. So it's essentially a skill shot, endless range ult, global range. So it has 100% bonus AD and plus 90% AP. The bad part about it is that every time you hit someone, it loses damage by a lot, honestly. So that's the bad part. The good part is that if you hit 5 minions or 5 enemies or something like that, you get 5 Rising Spell Forces, so this can be an awesome engage in a team fight. And plus it lowers everyone's health by half, so it's an awesome spell in general. In my opinion, Ezreal is definitely the funnest champion to play out of all of the AD carries, simply because he has so many skill shots that reward you when you hit them, and you know, he does really do a ton of damage, and his passive really complements his build style, so he doesn't really need to go for attack speed items like Trinity Force, yeah, but he doesn't need to get Phantom Dancers, or you know, he doesn't really need to get Trinity Force at all, because his passive really gives him the attack speed that so many other AD carries lack. So you could get like 0.5 attack speed just from your passive during the team fight, so you know, you could just keep on attacking and have an Infinity Blade instead of having to go for Phantom Dancers, which don't give you any AD at all, while Infinity Blade gives you a shit ton of AD. So you know, he he's hard to play and he's easy to play. So if you're coming from an AP, he's gonna be really easy to play just because APs really are the ones that do the skill shots. You know, Anivia, Morgana, Lux, Orianna. Not really Orianna, but you know, you get the point. If you're used to sending those stuns, those balls, those, you know, those CC skills, you're gonna have fun with Ezreal. But if you're coming from someone like Caitlyn or Misfortune, you're gonna have a hard time, you know, because someone like Teemo, he just stands there and, you know, keeps attacking you, does the occasional Q for more damage, or does his mushroom for, you know, fucking stealing kills. That's a bitch. But Ezreal is really the AD caster, so he's fun to play, but he's semi hard to play. So the way you want to play him is early game, you really don't want to save mana using your Q. You just want to send it all out and do as much damage as you can early game, because you know, it's pretty easy to do damage with Ezreal because his Q has such a wide range, unlike other skill shots, so it's going to be pretty easy. You want to save W for engages, because W reduces the attack speed of the enemy AD, or, you know, the enemy in general, so that's pretty cool. Essence Flux is a really good spell. It's like a flash, but longer range than flash, I think. I'm pretty sure. It does damage as well, which is cool. But you want to save the E as your escape tool, because Ezreal is one of the, you know, less tankier ADs out there. He's not as tanky as Graves, who has his passive, or I don't know, Tryndamere, I guess, who has his ultimate, even though Tryndamere is kind of bad. So you want to save your E. Also, you could use your E to position yourself good for your skill shots. For instance, E across the minion wave, then use your Q for poke. And just don't be afraid to cast your spells as Ezreal, because they give you attack speed and they really don't have high mana costs. Well, none of AD carries have high mana costs, but you know, you get the point. His ultimate is one of the best ultimates in the game, if not the best. You know, it's my favorite ultimate after Quantum Singularity. At least I think it's called Quantum Singularity, Lux's ult. I'm probably terribly wrong with that. It's probably like Shuriken. It had like a weird Icelandish name before, so I really can't tell you. I think they changed it and a lot of people got pissed about that. But yeah, so just be careful with Ezreal. And the rule you really have to take with him is attack the one closest to you. It doesn't really matter if you're attacking a tank. It doesn't matter if you're attacking the AP. It doesn't matter if you're attacking the AD. Just attack the one closest to you, because if you can deal as much damage to the one closest to you, you might kill him and then go to the next one. If you try to go for the AD, you're just going to get bursted down, because the AD is usually way back attacking the closest one to them. So you have to attack the closest one to you better than the enemy AD attacks your tank. So, you know, it's really fun to play with Ezreal. And so the next thing I will talk about is items. Customization with items is truly where Ezreal exceeds other AD carries, simply because he is so versatile with items. He can go AP, he can go AD, he can go AP, AD, hybrid, he can go, he can't go tank, but you know, you get the point. So there are 3 main paths when the game starts. First path is getting is getting a Doran's Blade, which sucks in my opinion, because you have no sustainability. The second path is getting boots and 3 health pots, and then there's the path of getting boots, 2 health pots, and 1 mana pot if you're gonna waste a shit ton of mana, and you feel like the enemy is kind of bad. So, you know, personal preference, I guess. So 3 main paths can also diverse into another 3 main paths with Ezreal, because mid game he can go either building for an Infinity Edge, he can build for Trinity Force, but he can also build for 2 Doran's Blades, and that's kind of a bad build unless you're doing really good and you want the really good early, really good damage. But then late game it really doesn't build into anything and you lose around 300 gold, which is kind of sad. So the popular build these days is going for Sheen into Trinity Force, you know, Phage and then Zeal, or Zeal and then Phage. But I like the Infinity Edge more, simply because it gives you more damage early game, which he needs, because he is truly based on his skills, and he is integrated in his skills. So if you want to deal damage with Ezreal, obviously you're going to get more basic damage, so you can do more damage with your skills. So I like starting off with boots, 3 health pots, building into pickaxe, then getting cloak of agility, and then getting BF sword into Infinity Edge. The second item is definitely Trinity Force, simply because of his slow, the mana, and the movement speed. So it's like an all-around item, which is pretty good mid-game. Late game, I like getting Frozen Mallet because of the HP and slow, but you can also go for Phantom Dancers if you want the movement speed and critical strike. Then you can either branch out into a Black Cleaver for the heavy tanky enemy team, or you can get an AP item, or you know, just get another AD item. But AP items are kind of good on Ezreal as well because of his ultimate. Pretty stupid idea, I think, but you know, if you feel comfortable with your skill shots, I don't see why not just getting an AP AD hybrid. You know, it's not a bad idea. I'm kind of liberal when it comes to itemization, so that's pretty obvious. But yeah, Ezreal's main item worries are mid game and really early game. So after if you survive into late game, you can really choose whatever you want to build with Ezreal. So good luck. So because I really don't have any fancy graphics like Riot Game does, I'm just gonna go over the basic of Masteries and hope you have the common logic to put pluses and minuses where they're due. So the Masteries for AD for Ezreal are the standard AD Masteries. I'm going 2109. You can find that on any website concerning League of Legends. I think you can even go on League of Legends and find it there. So that's pretty simple. Masteries are done. Runes. Okay, so runes is where you can also diverse with Ezreal. He seems to be a really open-minded character. So runes, you have to have AD. That's like the base of any AD carry. You have to have AD runes at the start. But you can choose if you want. I think Quints are the best ADs. Then you're gonna want some armor pen, just because you're probably gonna go against Graves and his passive is kick-ass. So you're gonna want to go some armor pen as well. you're gonna want some armor. Simply because you're gonna go versus an AD bot if you're level 30. And armor pen. Okay, so then you can go mana regen, which is okay, I guess, for an AD carry. I think I have like I think I have like 5 per 5 mana regen or something like that. I'm not really sure. But, you know, common logic says that if you want to be an AD carry, you need AD, you need armor pen, and you need some armor. The rest you can diverse as you wish. You don't really have to study this out. It's just what you think is going to best suit you. So just don't really trust internet and you know, do exactly as they say, because every person is different and every person likes to have extra AD instead of armor or extra AD instead of mana regen. So just choose what you want and it'll be fine. Just don't worry. Runes are only good early games, because late game 5 AD really doesn't matter that much. And if you're one of the people that says, oh, but why don't you get, you know, runes per level? Just because 50 AP is really not going to do that much at level 18. I mean, it's better to get 10 extra AP early game so you do the 10 extra damage when the enemy has 5 HP. So, you know, just don't get per level. That's pretty shit terrible. Alright, so if you have managed to listen to my annoying voice so far, please think about subscribing. Just really don't have to do it, you know, because you're probably bored already. Don't even know how you managed this long. I don't think I've even watched this far into the video. So thanks for watching. Really, it helps a lot. Leave any comments, especially negatives, because I really do need to improve this, and I really need to improve how I make these videos, how often I do. So don't subscribe, I guess, because it's gonna be boring. But do like. I really like those thumbs up, so do like. I don't like it when it's 90% liked. I like it when it's 100% liked. So take care, and you should probably watch another Ezreal Champion Spotlight, because you probably haven't learned shit from this one. Thanks, and bye.